Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I have 5 around $50 9.8 comics to buy. And these ones are really affordable, but they're also pretty speculative as well. You want to keep that in mind. Yeah, it'll be kind of hit or miss, I think, on these ones if, any of them turn out to be great investments sort of in the long term. But around $50, I think they're great 9.8s to consider. Yeah, really cool books to talk about today. So the first one is a Dark Ages #1 in a 9.8. And a big shout out there to Action Figure Grader John over at Action Figure Grader. Really responsible for kind of turning me on to the Dark Ages idea. Yeah, go ahead over. I'll put his link to his YouTube channel in the description below. So many great like Star Wars 9.8 ideas on John's channel. And he really follows close like the action figure, Star Wars action figure market. Like all of these old Star Wars figures go for huge money. So if you're into that too, definitely check out Action Figure Grader's channel. But Dark Ages #1 here. This one is the first appearance of the Unmaker, who's a pretty cool villain. I was able to read the Dark Ages here. It's a kind of a 6-issue limited series, I guess it would be. The Unmaker's a new villain. He kind of is destroying the world from the inside. Like he's like drilling in the inner core of the world, and kind of, some of the superheroes have to come together to save the world from the Unmaker. This one, in the first print of the Dark Ages #1, though, there's 204 9.8s, and 82.6% is the 9.8 ratio. So another thing you really like about this one, you kind of get the first glimpse of this Miles Morales symbiote character. In this story, Apocalypse has kind of taken over and possessed this Miles Morales symbiote character. And he's kind of doing Apocalypse's bidding. Up to about the 5th issue, I believe they kind of defeat him and save Miles from these symbiotes. But it is a Venom and Carnage sort of combination too. Yeah, really kind of cool and interesting for sure. Anyway, you get a teaser of him at the end of this one. I don't even think it's a cameo. I think it's like, previewing in later issues, and you actually see him in this issue though, so a bit of a cameo. But this one, more about kind of the first appearance of the new villain, the Unmaker. Pretty cool cover on this one. A couple of variants to have a look at too, but saw this one sell in a 9.8 for $40 and $49.99. So right around 50 bucks, a little bit under. Pretty cool first appearance of a villain. You get that teaser of the Miles symbiote, which I think is a pretty cool one. We're going to go through a few other books here, maybe focusing a little bit more on that Miles Morales symbiote character that shows up in the Dark Ages. But the next one here, really cool, around $50 9.8. It's a Darkhawk #1. This is the first appearance of the new Darkhawk, who's Connor Young. And I read sort of a synopsis of this one, and it sounds pretty cool how he's like a basketball player, but he gets like MS, and then he can't really ball that much, but sort of by chance kind of gets the Darkhawk power. So a pretty cool kind of story about sort of overcoming a bit of a disability, which I think is pretty cool. And the first appearance of the new Darkhawk, maybe there's some potential there. 78 of these and a 9.8 in the first print. I like the first printing as well. I think both of these are that Coelho artist. And yeah, I'm liking the eye appeal on a lot of his covers lately and some of the art. 95.1% the 9.8 ratio on the Darkhawk #1. I saw this one sold for $30 in this first print. A couple other variants as well. They're still really cheap, all around 50 bucks, I think, if you're kind of patient and wait in auctions and stuff. Also saw this one sell for $51. So Darkhawk #1 with the first appearance of the new Darkhawk. Thought it was a pretty cool story. Cool cover on the first print, I think, as well. I'd probably just go after the first print. I think it's like maybe the limb variant was looking pretty cool too. But yeah, check out some of the other variants, and maybe you can go after one that you think is really cool. Next one. It's a Harley Quinn 2021 Annual #1. This one, it's a first appearance of Keepsake, who's kind of a new Gotham villain, Batman villain, but they're really setting Keepsake up to be kind of like a main Harley Quinn villain. So, Harley Quinn nowadays is almost like an anti-hero hero, basically. So they're sort of giving, Keepsake could basically be like, one of the main Harley Quinn villains, moving forward, possibly. It kind of sounds like it, too. I haven't read this one. Got to get around to reading it. I think I read like an article on, what was it, like CBR or something about this Keepsake character. Seemed pretty cool. Like he was sort of like kind of the right-hand man for a few other villains, and over time, he's been around in Gotham for a really long time, and he's sort of bringing everything together, all the knowledge. So he seems really pretty knowledgeable and a pretty cool villain, actually. I've got to probably check out a little bit more on Keepsake. and maybe get around to reading this one. But there's 15 9.8s in a blue label, 1 of 15 in the first print. Pretty cool, eye-appealing, like Harley Quinn cover onto the first print. There is another variant that seems there's more graded. It sells more. It's got, I forget the artist, the cover, but if you do a search in the 9.8 for this one, you'll notice that there's like a variant cover that's kind of, there's more 9.8s out there. But I do like the first print too. 15 in the first print, blue label 9.8, 93.75% is the 9.8 ratio. So almost all these are, pretty much all of them are 9.8s that are sent to CGC. This one saw sell for $49.99 and $64.95. And then there's that variant cover that's kind of having pretty similar prices. It gets kind of a little bit up to 75 on that variant for this one. But yeah, first Keepsake might be one to go after. Myself being, you know, a big Batman fan, I kind of considered this one, but still got to read it, so I'm kind of on the fence right now, but one to consider for sure. All right, getting back to some of the Dark Ages books. Talk about Dark Ages #2 on this one. This one's going to be the first cover appearance of this sort of Miles Morales symbiote. I do like this #2 first print cover. It's a Coelho cover as well. Yeah, Coelho on the cover art on these Dark Ages books. So, you know what? Miles Morales looking really cool with this sort of Venom Carnage hybrid symbiote sort of enveloping him on the cover. And it's interesting too, like pretty much the first appearance of this symbiote, we're going to get into the next few books here, is kind of issue 3 and 5. So it's one of those, you know, where you kind of get the first appearance on the cover of a book before they actually appear in the story. So this Dark Ages #2 could be one to go after because you kind of see this Miles Morales symbiote on the cover sort of before the major appearances. So in this first print, there's 18 9.8s, 94.7% is the 9.8 ratio. And this one, I saw one sell for $36 in an auction like about a month ago. One sold for $50.50 and another sold for $67. So this one, I was really liking this one, to be honest. I ended up grabbing the one that sold for $50.50. I did pick up that one. And also, I saw this one pop up. It's the Frankie's Comics Virgin Edition, the Amazing Spider-Man 300 homage for this, with like the Miles Morales symbiote on the cover. I just couldn't resist on this one, so I ended up grabbing this one for $99.99 as well. Yeah, I have a feeling, like, you know, Miles Morales, first time he gets kind of enveloped with the symbiotes with the Amazing Spider-Man 300 homage. I think this one could be one to grab for, you know, quite a few collectors over there over time. So we'll see how that one works out. But I think with the first cover appearance of this Miles Morales symbiote, Dark Ages #2 is one to think about, right around $50. And the last one here, kind of a 2-for-1, we'll go Dark Ages #3, or maybe consider #5, because as I read this, the Dark Ages series here, #3, it kind of sets up as like a first appearance in a way, but it really is a cameo. Like, it's just on the last page, you see him, and then there's another small panel where like Apocalypse is kind of summoning him. But so for me, Dark Ages #3 is going to be first cameo appearance of this Miles Morales symbiote, Carnage Venom symbiote, and issue 5 is where he really like fights the Dark Ages heroes that are kind of assembling to save the world. This Miles Morales symbiote. So first full appearance, I think, is issue 5. So there's not too many of these in the 9.8. In the Dark Ages #3, which I guess will be first cameo, this Miles Morales symbiote, 7 9.8s in a blue label, 100% the 9.8 ratio. Saw that one sell for $89. That was like the first auction I saw pop up on this one on eBay, and $89 is kind of a pretty stiff price for like a brand new book. It's already going for more than the issue #1 and issue #2. So I feel like the issue 3 might be the one to get, but as I read them, again, like, I think issue 3 is the cameo appearance, and first full appearance is issue 5. But these are such new books that the #5 issue hasn't really been graded in the 9.8. I didn't even look at it on the census. There's probably going to start being a few hitting the market on these ones. So no rush on these ones in a 9.8. But consider these issues in the raw copies as well. Yeah, I think in Canada there's still like $4 or $5 like cover price raw copies on a Dark Ages #3 and #5. Yeah, and if that one 9.8 auction went for $89, I have a feeling this one's going to be pretty well collected over time. So it'll be interesting to see which one the market goes for. Like, maybe that cameo appearance, it is a pretty cool cameo. It's kind of a full page. So maybe that's just enough for people to kind of go after Dark Ages #3 as being the first appearance of this Miles Morales merged with Venom and Carnage. But maybe it's issue 5. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on these ones for sure. And you know, when they start popping up into 9.8, for me, they'll be ones to target. And I've already kind of went after the number 2 issue with the first appearance of with the first cover appearance of the Miles Morales symbiote on the cover there. Okay, so quite a few, most of them, yeah, pretty much all of them being brand new books. Usually when you get around that $50 price, you got to kind of stick to the new ones. But maybe there's some potential, and you know, there could be some, what I would think as decent potential for this Miles Morales symbiote. Like, if there's any character to kind of speculate on, it's probably Miles Morales. And I'm pretty sure this is the first time that he's sort of enveloped by Venom or Carnage. And, you know, there could be like a nullified or, you know, a Carnageized cover out there that'll prove me wrong, but hopefully there's not. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how these Dark Ages books go ahead moving forward. But great ones to consider, around $50 right now in a 9.8, I think. All right, team, thanks so much for watching, though. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.